Hey, it's Martin Schneider, VP and Principal Analyst at Constellation, covering all types of growth technology.
And I'm Larry Dignan, Editor-Chief of Constellation Insights, and we're coming to you from ARX in, where are we?
We are in beautiful Turtle Bay, Oahu, Hawaii.
And we're awaiting a tsunami.
Yeah, so if a big wave comes behind us, you'll know what happened.
Hi, I'm Larry Dignan from Constellation Insights, and we're here with Esteban Kolsky, who has a launch we're going to talk about.
Yes.
So what are you up to?
What am I up to? I spent the last 3 months working tirelessly, incredible amount of work, putting together a new offering that we call the board, which amazingly enough is aimed at board members and executives trying to make better decisions. So we started doing this started a conversation in January. Then in April, I joined Constellation, and I've been working since then to build the solution. We are monitoring. Ray likes to say 2,000, but it's more like 4,000 or 5,000 noisemakers, people that have something to say. We extract the signal, and then we distill it into the amazing amount of information that is precisely what CEOs and board members need.
And what are board members wrestling with the most?
That's a great question. So the way we started is we looked at, when you look at how board members actually get their information, right, it needs to be concise. So we said, okay, what are we looking at? We're looking at 3 themes. The 3 themes are growth, resilience, and sustainability. These are the 3 things that anything that you do needs to be around these 3 themes. And then we looked at the topics, and we looked at the largest spend that they're doing right now in technologies for enterprise technology. And we found out that is number 1, enterprise cloud infrastructure, hybrid networks, public and private cloud. Second one, cybersecurity and compliance. I know, shocking, right? For the 50 in a row in the top 3 of spend. Number 3, generative AI, which didn't exist 2 years ago, but it's now a board spending level. Number 4, then we also have supply chains, because, we'll go into it in a second. And then number 5 used to be advanced computing, but that entails basically edge computing and quantum computing. So those are the topics that we're actually covering. And then we use all these agents and AI and everything that we built over the last 3 months, and we collect all the information, distill the very precise points of information that they need, and then we present it back to the board members in 3 different parts. The first part is an executive summary that changes every month. So every single month you get 3 to 5 pages with everything you need to know about what's going on in enterprise technology that affects board decisions.
So it's a living document?
It's not. It's an evolving document. Every month is different. So I take 1 month and then evolve it over the next one. I get added information, new stories, new insights, new data points, things that they just emerge. And then we basically create all this information and they get exactly what they need. Before the board meeting, you read this report, you pick the pieces that you need, and you're prepared, well-informed, and you have everything that you need to be able to deliver, participate in the meeting and create a better decision.
All right. So let's see. Are there any surprises about those top 5 things? Did you expect generative AI to be higher?
I expected generative AI to be lower when I started. Okay. Generative AI was, in February, there was a study, actually there were 2 studies that said that adoption of generative AI in the enterprise was around 30%. The last month, we had one that said that was 60%, and I saw one not too long ago that said was 75% adoption. So that speed of adoption, that's what actually surprised me a little bit. I didn't think that was going to get there. I didn't expect supply chain to have as much reception as it did, but given the state of the world, geopolitical
and tariffs, yes.
Exactly.
Tariffs, I know just from what I'm reading with the earnings transcripts, it's tariff, supply chain, and they're just rerouting things every.
So here's the thing. In the old days, it would have taken 6 to 12 months to reconnect the supply chain from beginning to end.
Right.
Thanks to AI, thanks to technology, thanks to cloud, thanks to all the things we invested, it's taken less than 6 weeks to reconfigure an entire supply chain from beginning to end. That's incredible. That's actually something that blew my mind as well.
Yeah, well, I think the COVID definitely was a nice warm-up act for that.
Pandemic and everything that followed, pandemic plus geopolitical wars, plus economic instability, plus tariff wars, plus. I mean, every week that we get a new one, and it doesn't matter. I mean, Thailand and Cambodia are at it now, trying to figure it out. A lot of our, the clothes that we wear is made in Cambodia.
Right.
So how is that going to affect the trade? When Iran was in a war with Israel, there was a concern that it was going to close the Strait of Suez. And when it did close the Strait of Suez, it would have affected the worldwide distribution of oil. So those are the things that you need to constantly be updating and understanding how you can overcome and surpass those.
What do boards need to be thinking about in the next 3 months?
30 months?
3 months.
Oh, 3 months, sorry.
30 months, that's just
Well,
fiction.
interesting enough, the board doesn't need to be thinking in 3 months. The board doesn't think anything before 9 to 12 months and then going forward. Part of the research that I'm producing is a framework that has 9 to 12 months, 13 through 18 months, and then 18 through 36 months. In the next 3 months, the only thing that the board is going to be doing is going to be getting reports from the executives saying, we did what you told us a year ago, and these are the results. 9 months from now, we need to start thinking, is there a place for quantum computing? What are the new flavors of AI that are going to be emerging? You need to be thinking about, now that we reconfigure supply chains and that we know, hopefully, what the tariffs are going to be, how do we create better strategies? And then the most important of all is, figure out what's this infrastructure that you have to build to support all these technologies that are emerging.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome, thank you.
Reporting live from the North Shore of Hawaii, of Oahu. Here we are at what used to be called the Analyst Relations Experience, but we've renamed it. In fact, Martin has renamed it. Martin, what's the new name?
AR Extreme.
Because at the moment, we are about 3 hours away from a tsunami potentially landing on this exact shore, literally landing here. So we decided to film this just so we could report later. Martin has actually volunteered to latch onto a tree over there to do some Anderson Cooper style live, which I thought was good. It's a growth strategy for Constellation.
Growing waves.
Exactly. Waves of revenue and opportunity coming to your shores anytime soon, folks.
That's right.
We're just standing here to make Larry as uncomfortable as humanly possible. I think we're there. But this is what happens when we all get together. But more importantly, it's what happens when we bring our clients, our analyst relations clients together to find out what is changing and what is that next wave of change that's going to happen in analyst relations. And we actually got a lot of really, it's a tsunami of knowledge, people. Oh my God. Okay, Martin.
Yeah.
What's your big takeaway from hearing from all of our clients on what they are looking for from analysts, with analysts, and what's the big change when it comes to insight?
Yeah, I think when you kind of put together who's managing or who's owning AR above the actual AR, right? And then reporting into both product as well as brand marketing, you really need to kind of kill two birds with one stone in terms of the content and the quality of the research that analysts like we are putting out that can be both digestible, but also actually validating to the technology points, but then can also be multi-purposed, multimedia, and doing that in a way that what they're all saying is the pace of innovation for the products and the companies that they're working with is faster than ever before. The old models, the old analyst models of like one report a year.
6 months until we tell you about something.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't work anymore. So how do we, in terms of both the format and both the channels and the way that we research and report and publish, that needs to change a little bit. And we talked a lot about what that looks like in the next maybe 8 to 24 months.
I think it was also really interesting to hear an undercurrent of, hey, we also need to be real about what's real.
Yeah.
Not just about the technology that's out there. We had a very healthy debate about whether agentic AI was hype or reality. We could talk about that in a second. But I think there was also a lot of side conversations around kind of this space of between real analysts with influence, and influential analysts and influencers. And I think that there's starting to become a bit of a bifurcation in that market. So we kind of really got to hear a lot about what our clients are saying is really important to them about being honest, being that upfront voice, being that truthful voice, and being that influential voice to a lot of our end users. And I think that's something that we take very seriously, because with Constellation and our executive network, it is something we are constantly building, and we're constantly looking at those opportunities to drive more of that honest conversation as opposed to driving a lot of chatter.
And a lot of the honesty came out when we were talking about agentic AI.
Ooh,
which,
that was a convo.
I argue is a 2027 story with a lot of vendor hype in between. And yeah, there was a little spirited debate there.
Holger had something to say about the
Yeah,
cloud.
he did.
It was
So far
weird.
away,
He
but
never
yeah.
talks about the
But
cloud.
agentic AI, no, I think it's well, agents are real if you do it in the right way in 2026, from my perspective. And we also could see the wave of enterprise acceleration getting into like a rising tide.
A rising tide!
Into accelerating.
As the
what
water
analyst
leaves the
relations,
shore.
What information from events has to be reflected. Like Martin said, like 6 months, once a year, analyst report is too fast, too slow. Nobody wants to read it. It's a history collection at best.
Yep.
And that's what we have to reflect in our coverage.
It's a tsunami of acceleration.
It is.
Exactly.
It is an unstoppable wave, everyone. It is an absolute, but not that way. There was a whole conversation about waves too, but that was for another day and for a private conversation.
Yeah.
But
No similarities with other analyst firms.
no,
Those are
no.
totally
But
coincidental,
here's what I will say that I thought was super interesting about some of these conversations. And Larry brought up a great conversation around kind of what do you do if you start to think about analyst relations through the lens of Moneyball, right? As you start to look at how we can start to bring some of these tactics and bring some of these change mechanisms into what we're doing. And one of the things that we've talked about was how do we have to start architecting our content so that we're thinking about the prompts and the AI keywords and then the LLM capacity that we're actually going to be searched with for us to access our content and for our vendor clients to access their content so that our end user clients can actually get to what they need. And so for us, it starts to really change what that chain starts to look like and how we think differently. And I think part of the reason why, I mean, let's be honest here, we're 4 oddballs that needed a home, and thank God there was a Constellation.
For yourself.
You're an oddball, dude. I don't know if you realize that or not, but I mean, that's the news. That's the breaking news. There's a tsunami, and Larry's an oddball. But what this brings to the table is the fact that because we have our own opinions and because we really, the one rule that I think it's the one rule we all had to agree to.
Constellation.
It was the one rule we all had to agree to was that we were not going to engage in a whole lot of BS, right? That we were going to tell the truth and we were going to be honest and give that honest opinion. And I think in this age of LLMs and generative AI, that puts us in a very, very, God, it's a tough spot because it means that we have a lot more responsibility to you guys, folks who watch our content and folks who consume our content, to make sure that we are providing that honest opinion and that we are being very transparent and authentic about it.
Calling a spade and a tsunami a tsunami.
So, yeah, call a wave, and a tsunami is a tsunami.
And now
Exactly.
it's time to evacuate.
It might be.
There's
I mean,
nobody
no.
around
I mean,
him.
we're still okay.
One person.
We got hours.
There's still people. We got hours to go, and you know,
So
it's.
if the tsunami would hit us, and if it would be bad, what would be your last words of advice to CXOs in your coverage areas?
My last words of advice is going to be Holger's depressing. Holger.
Come on, legacy, potential legacy. You don't know.
You're so
Here's
German,
here
bro.
my I know Holger's legacy. No, how about
the world
this?
is ending
How
today.
about we each say what each other's legacy is going to be, and I'm just going to say that Holger's legacy is going to be that employee experience was important after all.
And my last words for Liz is going to be, Holger was right on CRM.
CRM for the win.
Exactly.
Larry,
Come on,
you going to take on Martin?
Show us some love,
Come
yeah?
on,
What's
come on.
Martin's last word?
I'm growing a beard.
I have no words.
I have no words. Out
Is
of
that
words.
wave growing?
Martin, last words for
Last
Larry.
words for Larry is, if we're not around, I'll never know if I was right that agentic AI is a 2027 thing.
No.
And go Birds. Go Birds.
No.
Go Birds.
I know what you're both. You both have a shared last words as we're going down on this. It's go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Bird. I think Larry was let me crank quickly one out.
Yeah, I got one more headline.
Let me crank one more Insights report out.
Well,
What's your last
listen.
Insights report going to be, Larry? You're right about? What's the last one?
Wave predictions.
The IT issues with a tsunami.
To tsunami technology is going to be a good one.
News in Japan already about
Oh, yeah,
issues,
yeah.
for the
Totally.
tsunami.
Predictive AI. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
And how quickly we got the, and how differently
Water flow.
Resilience, guys. Resilience.
Okay, here's the deal, everyone. So the other thing you should know, for those of you who have still decided to watch this, in what Holger believes are going to be our final hours, is that Hannah is also here with us, our intrepid producer,
Somebody's
holding the
holding
phone,
holding the camera.
and
Holding
she
the
has now
camera,
officially slapped her head to her forehead,
she's on
which
2 feet
is
higher ground.
and she's on higher ground than all 4 of us.
Like,
So
we might be tweeting water handles,
that
smiling and
tells you
documenting
where
this.
we all rank in the importance of this. But she has officially said, she has given us the official signal to wrap it up. So
In all
calling
honesty,
it.
be safe. Be
Calling
safe,
it.
seek
I think that
higher
one more
ground.
minute.
We got 1 more minute in order to say thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching us. As usual.
This was from ARX, and
That was
now
episode 110.
episode 110, and now we're going to leave it to Larry and Martin
in
to
the
close
box.
out.
That was episode 110. As always, follow our channel on YouTube. And if you're not already, subscribe to Larry's Insights to get all the latest
it.
and greatest in tech trends.
No guarantee there's one Saturday, though.
And subscribe to our newsletter at constellationnr.com. Thanks, guys. We will hopefully see you next time.